Right. So, if you accidentally touch a very sharp surface with your feet, suppose all of a sudden a pointed nail that should be laid on the road, all of a sudden we are moving on the road, isn't it? It should be pinpointed. Okay. So while walking on a road, all of a sudden you are going on talking with your friends, or you are going to speak with somebody else with your mobile. What happens? You have stamped on a sharpened object which is made by iron. So immediately what to do? How it is pierced into our skin. Immediately you are going to switch off the phone, or immediately you are going to at the same time lift up the foot up. Okay, that means you are withdrawing the object, withdrawing the leg on that object. And if you observe that there is a small and a little droplet of blood should be bleeded out. Okay, so this is the way how afferent nerves and sensory and motor nerves are working and gives out information. This is what is called as leg muscles responded to stimulus and according to the situation. Stimulus and response what we see. Okay. So far, when you are performing any action such as running on upstairs, this is also one of the best example. So while stepping up, what to do? We are going on observing the steps and fastly are moving. That means there is a conditional reflexes. While step up and step down, we are moving very fast. Generally, we are going to observe that 9th and 10th students, they are moving up. Suppose the next hour is drill period, this period is completed, bell rang. Immediately they are eager to step down to ground. They are running. At the time of running, what they are doing? Are they with a conscious or unconscious? Conscious. That means they are moved consciously and conditional. That means after step, they are going to stepping down or stepping up. But sometime, all of a sudden, the boy who may fell. That means sometimes it may go for wrong stepping. Concentrated on that, and who wants to go for fast into the class or into the ground. So at that time, what happened? It should be slipped out, and the person may be fall. So while stepping up and stepping down, there is a effector organs and effector organs are going to be worked. Okay, special movement under the stepping up and stepping down. It's not a plain path to walk or run. It is a step up and step down method. So what happened here? A special movement. That means sometimes if you observe, some of them are stepping up like this, okay, or like this. A person who did the step up and step down in this pattern, he didn't get any exhaustion. You do that. Suppose some of the people are in the apartments, there is a lift and also steps. One fine day, you go and observe, you have step down, step out, step out, step up like that. We should not step up, step down like this. Step down in a slant. We didn't get any exertion because it's free to move. That's why in hospitals there is a ramp. Slowly that should be given us. No pressure. Okay. So these nerve transmissions are move at a speed 100 meters per second. Okay. The maximum of a nerve transmission to be 100 meters per second. So here what we did means voluntarily we are going to step down and step up, and also there is a conditional and unconditional reflexes are also come along with our the way of stepping down and stepping up. Okay. So The voluntary and involuntary actions in our body are controlled by nervous system. So we are already once studied. See, without nervous system we cannot move an inch also, that is already once we studied in the last class. Okay. All these actions, whatever the actions we are performing, that is to be by conditional and unconditional reflexes and with the help of nerves, which are originated from each and every part of our body. And these nerves are spread all over the body. And the brain and spinal cord comes under central nervous system. There are three types of nervous system. Okay? There are three types of nervous system. So, central nervous system, central nervous system, central nervous system. Next, autonomic nervous system, autonomic nervous system, peripheral nervous system, peripheral nervous system. So we call them as CNS, ANS and PNS. Central nervous system, autonomic nervous system, peripheral nervous system. These are the three nervous systems we have. So what do you mean by central nervous system? Central nervous system is nothing but spinal cord and brain. Central nervous system means brain and spinal cord. Okay, central nervous system means brain is also involved, spinal cord also. Previously also I said, without brain and spinal cord, you should not do anything and you should not step an inch also. Okay. Now coming to the central nervous system. So, central nervous system consisting of brain. We are all well known the brain, about the brain. So, it is a brain is which is located inside a bony case called cranium. This is called as cranium. It's a cranium. Brain is present in the bony box called cranium. Okay, kapalamu, which is a very soft tissue. Okay, so it is when compared to our body, it is a shrews, means a tiny rat, a small organ which is to be inside the brain. Okay, so it is to be 2% of the total body weight of the brain. Our brain weight is 2% of the total body weight. That means your body weight is 25 kgs or 30 kgs or 40 kgs or 60 kgs. On that 2%. Okay. So the weight of the brain is, this is also previous in the next classes. Totally the brain weight is 1400 grams. Okay. In your textbook is given 1375 grams. In male, 1375 grams in a male, 1275 grams in a female. Okay, 1375 grams in a male and 1275 grams in female. Okay, that means nearly 1400 grams. But in the children, it is 400 grams. In children, 400 grams because they are growing age. Okay, so 2% of the body weight. The brain weight is 2% of the total body weight. Clear, children? Next, the brain is present in a hard, bony, box-like structures called cranium. Okay. So this brain is covered by 3 meninges. This brain is covered by 3 meninges. Means 3 membranes. Okay. This is the brain. Have you have many brain? Now see this brain. This is a brain which is covered by 3 membranes. What are the 3 membranes? What are they? One is outer membrane, middle membrane, that is what is called as a mesophyll, madhyana, middle membrane, and inner membrane. Right? So, outer membrane is covered by a substance called dura mater. Dura mater. This is arachnoid membrane, and this is called pia mater. Don't spell in another way. Pia. Pia matter. Okay. So these are the 3 membranes are covered by 3 types of subfluids. Okay. So here these meninges and the brain, spinal cord are covered by these membranous structures, and the brain is protected by a fluid called cerebrospinal fluid. Cerebrospinal fluid. What is that? CSF means cerebrospinal fluid. Okay? CSF. Okay? This fluid moves around the brain and also protected the spinal cord. This fluid is going to protect the brain and also spinal cord, and which is also gives protection against shocks and injuries, physical shocks or injuries and mental blows. So this is the very important fluid which is to be circulated around the brain and the spinal cord. Okay. Next. So here the nerve cells. Yesterday in our class we already informed there is neuron. 10 billion neurons are present in our brain. Okay. These neurons are covered in this brain, 10 billion neurons. So if you observe a brain of a goat better or a sheep, if you observe the brain of a goat or a sheep, it looks dull grey in color. See, this is the outer part. Okay, here, this part, it is somewhat around dull grey in color or dirty greenish in color. That means, what do you think of? The brain is not going to get any infection. Means the neurons. Suppose I have drawn that neuron. That neuron have dendrites, isn't it? That neuron have dendrite. These dendrites appears as a grey color. What are these? Dendrites. Dendrites are grey in color. So that's why the total outer part of the brain, that means after breaking this skull, if you observe the brain, it looks to be dull grey in color. The outer part of the brain is a dull grey in color because all these dendrites are in grey color. Dendrites are grey in color. So if you observe the inner part of the brain, have you observed the brain? Break down once and see, and afterwards you have to go for fix in your brain. Okay? Do that. So this is our inner part of our brain. See how design it should be designed. So there are many elevations. This is called elevation. This is called groove. It is to be bulged. Isn't it? Like this. This is bulged portion. Elevation. This is groove. This is convex and concave. We are already studied now in the kidney. Likewise. This is bulged part. This is called as gyri and this is called sulci. This elevative part is called gyri. Elevation is there now. Gyri. Gyri not. Gyri. And this is a groove called sulci. Okay. So the brain is inside the brain. It should be in this pattern. So the outer part of the brain looks dull grey in color because of presence of dendrites. The dendrites show dull grey in color. Whenever we observe inner part of the brain, it is white matter. White is white matter because if you observe the dendrites on the upper part of the brain, but inside what happens? There is a, what is this one? Long one, axon. So the bundles of axons are there, not only 1 or 2, 10 billion neurons are there. All these show in a white colored appearance. That means all the axons are white in color. Clear, children? Am I clear? Understood? So upper part of the brain we observe dull grey in color, and when we observe the inner part of the brain, that means we are going to observe the brain of a sheep or a goat by breaking, we will get a white in color. That is called as white matter because of most of the axons present inside the brain. Right, children? Right. Now, when we observe the brain, there are 3 types of brains. Forebrain. This is a forebrain, midbrain, and hindbrain. 3 brains. When we observe the brain, there are 3 types. One is forebrain, midbrain, hindbrain. Okay? Forebrain means this is the consisting of cerebrum. Okay. Forebrain. Forebrain consisting of cerebrum. There are 3 parts. Forebrain, cerebrum. Next, midbrain. Midbrain. Next here, optic lobes will be present. Optic lobes. Okay, and hindbrain. Cerebellum. Cerebellum, medulla oblongata are present in the head. Forebrain, cerebrum, midbrain, optic lobes, hindbrain or hindbrain, cerebellum. Okay? So this is the way how our brain is subdivided in, but they are doing different tasks. Suppose we are writing an exam. All of a sudden in our school street, one auto wala is going to play song. Can't you hear? You are enjoying the song and writing the exam. So at a strand, we are doing 2 tasks. Meanwhile, the teacher is and somebody else also call you Are show me, show me, show me. So we are writing. One is hearing. One is other person is going to typing our leg or hand. Show me, show me. 3 tasks. So this is the way how our brain is designed. We will see in the next class. Thank you.